This is my audience. Okay. Hi, my name is Elise Martin, and I'm just going to talk to you for a little bit today, if that's okay. Did you know that 1 million animals every year in America are euthanized in shelters? Today, I wanted to talk about the difference you can make in these animals' lives as well in the lives of your community. We as a community need to stand up and take our role in learning the importance of adopting from shelters instead of handpicking purebred from breeders. I personally have always been part of a rescue family. Growing up, I lived out in the country and dogs were always dropped off by our house or they came down from the road, and I'm so thankful that my mom was always ready to lend a helping hand to these animals, and that's something that I take into my life today. As many of you know, I just recently adopted a dog from the shelter, Stubbs. He is about 2 years old, mixed breed, very energetic, and he's just been a blessing in my home. While there was some adjustment time, it took a little bit of time to get him acclimated to everything and calm down. He's a great addition and we just love him. Although adopting him was not just a happy day, it was kind of bittersweet to my surprise. I was so overjoyed to go in and rescue him and bring him home and show him to my family, but at the same time I was filled with sadness because I wished so badly I lived within the means to bring home all his little friends as well. Living in rural areas, I'm sure many of us know, we haven't had to adopt animals or buy them. They just show up on your doorstep, they eat your food, and they never leave, but they can become your best friends for life. While that is very convenient for us, it also just goes to show the culture of animal neglect we have in our community. And that is why adopting over buying from breeders is something that is a showcase of our compassion for animal lives. It combats overpopulation on our streets. It is a smart economic decision, and it sets a very positive example for the people in our community. Okay, my first point is compassion for animals. Adopting saves lives. Every year, an overload of animals are taken into the shelter, whether it be from abandonment, neglect. Sometimes dogs just get lost, they can't find their families, or they have to be surrendered. Someone has to move because of work, and their apartment complex won't allow animals, or even worse, there's a death in the family, and the family cannot care for this animal. A couple weeks ago, I was at the vet because my mom had just rescued a little kitten outside of Merchants Bank, oddly enough. But I took the cat to the vet to get some dewormer, and there was an older man in there, and I could tell he was just, looking at the cat. I asked him, I said, "Do you want to hold her?" He was like, "Yeah, very excited, And so I gave him the cat, and he just starts to cry. He starts to bawl, and I am very confused, obviously. It's supposed to be a happy moment. And I asked him, I'm like, "What's wrong?" And he starts to tell me about this kitten that he had rescued and raised since it was a baby, and it's just his best friend, and now he's having to move because of work, and he has to surrender his cat. And it just broke my heart because some of these animals that end up in shelters are not strays. They're not been neglected. They have been part of a happy and loving home. And just think about the distraught that they experience going to the shelter. There's dogs barking, they're in cages, there's cats clawing, there's an increase in animal depression and anxiety. And not to mention the animals that go into these shelters never knowing this love from a family. They've been neglected since they were born. Not only do the integrated pet specialists at Allure recommend adopting a dog for these reasons, or adopting an animal to save a life, they also recommend it to save other animals' lives. When we adopt, we open up a space in the shelter for more animals to be brought in and taken care of by these volunteers. Which leads me into my second point, which is combating overpopulation. I'll pull this graph back up. Okay. This is a graph, and it shows the euthanization rates from 2016 to 2021 And as you can see, they are on a steady increase, not a decrease. And that's why I feel so motivated to spread awareness on this issue and just really get people up and at it at the shelters instead of buying from breeders. According to the ASPCA organization, every year 6.5 million animals are entered into the shelters in America. That's 6.5 million animals roaming the streets, scared, afraid, neglected. And not only does this crowd the shelters and increase the influx of euthanization, it also crowds our streets and our highways. It creates a danger when, stray animals cross the road and, worst case scenario, you hit the animal, you damage your car, you kill the animal, or you get injured yourself. So when adopting an animal, we create more space in these shelters so that we can get more of these strays off the road and out of harm's way. My third point is it is a smart economic decision. Adopting from shelters is more economical. It's easier on your pockets. Purebred animals are often hundreds to thousands of dollars, and this doesn't include the vaccinations, the microchipping, the spaying or neutering. It doesn't come with the little leash they give you or the little treats they give you at the animal shelter. Whereas if you adopt from a shelter, you get all those things: spaying, the microchip, the vaccinations, and little treats, and they'll even give you a little bit of food for a very low price. I think when I adopted my animal recently, it was about $150 in total for him, and this not only gives you an opportunity to save a life, but it also gives you an opportunity to save some money. And with this extra money that you have saved, you can take better care of your animal that you've just adopted. My fourth point is setting a positive example for your community. You need to set the standard. When you adopt, you become an advocate for animal well-being, animal rights. Not only this, but you spread awareness to your friends and your family, and you encourage them as well that it's okay to not have a purebred dog. It's okay to have a mixed breed from the shelter. They have a lot of character and oftentimes are very thankful to be having a new home. Your actions can create a ripple effect, as I've said, to your friends and family. And not only does it save lives, but it lessens the need for breeding. And the stigmatism around purebreds is that they're better dogs, they're healthier, all around. But you'll find that purebred dogs often have more health issues as well as need more care from you as a pet owner. In conclusion, I want to encourage everyone to adopt because it is the compassionate way, it's the intelligent way, it creates integrity, and adopting promotes kindness, it prevents overpopulation, it saves lives, and it sets an example for your community. So, the next time you want to adopt a furry friend, stop by your local shelter before and give it a look-see. You might just find your best companion for life. Thank you.